Hi, good afternoon. Welcome back to Concord AI Solution Podcast, the show where we explore the people, product, and platform reshaping the future of tech, innovation, and creative ecosystem. I'm your host, Rihanna Ahmed, and today I'm joined by Zach Beagle, the Chief Impact Officer and founder at Copact. Zach works with investors, founders, and institutions who want to do more than just generate returns. They want their capitals to actually solve problems. Through Copact, he helps design ecosystems that makes impact investing more intentional, measurable, and scalable. Zach, excited to have you on here. How are you today?
I'm doing great. I don't think you even need me on here. You just explained everything perfectly.
Tell me a bit about your role as a Chief Impact Officer and founder and how that fits into the bigger picture at Copact.
Yeah, let me give you a little bit of my background. So, I started my career at Deloitte Management Consulting, really supporting the Fortune 50, then did several tech startups, took a step back and really wanted to figure out what's my career about? What's my passion? And found that driving outcomes that matter was really what's critical. So, really focused in on understanding why organizations don't achieve their goals. We saw a lot of statistics out there around 90% of organizations failing to achieve their strategic goals. I looked at that problem and I figured, and I think I'm correct so far, that it is truly a people process technology issue. At Copact, we are focusing on being organizations' outcome partner to turn their top priorities into measurable wins. We focus in kind of three core areas: growth, profitability, and retention. And what we do is we build a system. We run a quarterly outcome system that sets the right priorities, activates executions, and owns the results. The key piece here is no matter what technology, no matter what industry, you have to build the right systems to drive overall success. And that's what I focus every single day on.
Sounds great. Thank you so much for kind of giving us a little bit of a background of what Copact does. What does ecosystem building actually looks like in practice? Can you touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, ecosystem for me and where I think it's going is a fancy word for community, but it's community with the people, process, and technology enabled for it. People, you need the right advocates, the right expertise, knowledge, and decision rights to actually make a difference in the world. Processes, they need to know how to interact with each other. For an ecosystem to be successful, you need to have clear ways to connect, interact, and add value to each other. And then product, you need solutions. You need a community tool and you need tools that you can leverage and better build those collaborations out. AI is an amazing piece of technology. Many say the greatest innovation we've had since the founding of electricity. But again, it is still an innovation. It does not work on its own. It requires the proper contacts and people and processes to get the most out of it. So I know lots of people are running into AI and we are this company AI. It's going to look very similar to when .com became a big thing. You're going to be .com and there will be new technologies that come out that are the new hot thing. Build the proper people, process, technology for your business, for your ecosystem, for everything you're trying to do.
Absolutely. Gotta love it. I was watching Super Bowl this past Sunday. I'm sure you watched it too.
Unfortunately, it was pretty poor.
Every single ad was an AI ad, right?
Nobody got it. It
It was
had some of the lowest ratings ever of Super Bowl ads. And again, we're not at the place where AI is ready to replace. AI is ready to amplify. AI is ready to expand what we can do. AI is ready to shift the work that you do, getting you out of manual, repetitive, low value added tasks and get you into higher opportunity tasks. Again, like any innovation, the assembly line, electricity, things like that, there will be detractors. People are not comfortable with change, but ultimately AI will be a force for good that will help us be more productive, more effective, and better utilize all the resources that we have today.
absolutely. Like you said, with every new technology comes new challenges. And I think the biggest challenge right now is people really not understanding everything that AI can actually do, right? It's like people are really just hearing the buzzword AI and they're thinking, okay, well, it's going to replace, my job or it's going to, completely eliminate the human touch. Not really. the way I see it, I'm like, either you learn and adapt it and make it work for you, or you just kind of get left behind. So that's how I see it. I don't, some people from our audience may disagree with me, but yeah, I loved how you compared it to the .com era. We're old enough to like think back to that time, fortunately or unfortunately. We've seen the world a little bit. So
Yeah,
excellent.
and there will always be, everybody says the next thing potentially is general artificial intelligence, and that's the next scale where it's really thinking and automating on its own. One thing I'll say is no matter what innovation has come out, the people to people connection and relationship does not go away. There will always be an advocate, a champion, a salesperson. There will always be continuous conversation and relationship to understand each other and understand each other's businesses and how we work together. So if I'm out there and I'm thinking my job might be on the cutting block, I'm going to lean into those softer skills and really focus on where I can add the most value rather than not everyone needs to be an AI expert, not everyone needs to be a software engineer. So it's really focusing in on where do you see the market going and how do you fit in and add the most value?
Absolutely. When we talk about shifting from tasks to outcomes, right? What does that practically mean for leaders and teams?
Yeah, this is an interesting space as well. Of we talked about kind of the technology arc and evolution we've been going on in B2B, which is more of my specialty. B2B has also gone through that a lot. Traditionally, you used to sell services, man hours, products, software, and it was very much, hey, this is what we're going to do. This is our contract. This is the task that we're going to complete. What we're already starting to see, and what I think AI is pushing people to move forward and much faster on, is I don't want to pay for a seat license. I don't want to pay for the number of hours it takes you to complete a task. I want to pay for the output. I want to pay for the result. I want to pay for the number of cases that are resolved. I want to pay for the dollars that are recovered. I want to pay for the actual outcomes that I'm looking to achieve or the consumption that I'm taking on in terms of the number of tokens or things like that. Where we see it is this is just the first step. Eventually, where we see this going is being even more outcome driven, where I'm not looking at an external metric or an external KPI. How does your product or service move the needle in my business? Are you moving me to gain more pipeline? Are you moving me to have better automation and efficiency and higher margins? Are you moving my customers to have a better experience, retaining them and increasing their LTV? So we've started in the tasks. I'm going to do this. I'm going to give you access to this. Good luck. I hope you do well. To very quickly going into consumption. How much am I using it? How many things are being completed? More transactional. I still think we're a ways away from true outcome. How am I moving the needle for you as an organization? When I use Salesforce or HubSpot or ZoomInfo or any of these technologies out there, how do I use these to make my business goals a reality? It is completely different than the SaaS model, and which is why I think the SaaS model is getting hit so hard is they need a big adjustment to be more successful moving forward because I don't want to pay for a license. I'll just go build the product for me. Show me how me plus you is more valuable than me building it myself.
That's an interesting take. And yeah, I feel like from the maintenance point of view as well, right? If you're building it, then you're better able to maintain it and keep up with the technology rather than just using it. So yeah, I think that's a good take on it. In terms of adoption for our any audience or leaders listening right now, what are the first three questions they should ask to start making this transition to AI?
Where's the value? It's really the only question. Where is the value? Where is the opportunity? Where's the pain? Where's the pain and the value? For us, as a classic management consulting, we're like doctors. Where's the pain? Where are you feeling it? Where are you not succeeding? And what do you need? Let's technology agnostic, solution agnostic. What do you need to be successful? When you find the pain and where you feel like there's value, then evaluate what you could do and how you could do it. Implementing AI to implement AI is not beneficial. It's actually a huge detractor. It'll be a cost, it'll be confusing, it'll lower morale. You need to have very clear and very tight use cases of what you want a solution to do. And if AI is the right fit for it, that's amazing. When AI is the best fit that I see is where there are a lot of low value add tasks and where there's also an ability to continuously learn and get better and better. When you have the opportunity to build a system that can continuously repeat, refine, and improve, that's where AI is an amazing solution. Pure automation or pure digitization, there are plenty of tools out there, and AI might not be the right fit. When you can build that full fledged system and you know this is a core thing in your business that is going to need to be completed, that's where AI is. But it all starts with the pain, which leads to the value.
Excellent. And this is exactly what Copact is out there doing for their clients, right? They're really helping them figure out what does that look like, right? So
Just one aspect, I would say AI obviously is very hot, and we're not a nonprofit, so we do go after the revenue and the profit. So AI is a big bulk of our business. But I would say 60% of our initiatives are non-AI focused. We do a ton around RevOps, go to market, marketing, branding. And we do a lot around customer experience, stakeholder, voice of customer. And these tools might have some AI, but it's not purely putting AI into the toolkit. You have to run your business the way you run your business in the most successful way possible. AI is an enabler at this point. Use it where it makes sense. Don't force it. Just like any software solution, any technology, do not force it. Do not put a square peg in a round hole. Find where it fits, expand from there. Let the team learn and go bring them along the journey rather than forcing it. You're seeing lots of companies, big companies, go in and say, hey, we can eliminate all of these jobs. You might be able to eliminate the task, but are you eliminating the proper experience for your customers? And are you going to be able to maintain it? I would rather implement them in parallel and shift the workforce to the more value added activities. Again, profit, bottom line, stock pressure, I get it, but that's where I'm seeing the most success in the Copact ecosystem is run parallel, learn, get the team to adapt and adopt and move on from there.
that is just really great. It's really nice to hear different perspectives about this entire space. So I really appreciate you talking our audience through, let's not just AI is not going to solve every single problem. Let's figure out the right problems to solve with this new tool. I think that's a very fresh perspective. Thank you for sharing that.
I
Now,
take it even one step farther. AI is not going to solve anything unless you fully understand the problem yourself. So never just throw any technology or solution there. I promise you, you will fail if you don't understand the problem deeply.
yeah, absolutely. What's working really well for Copac right now?
What's working really well is we learned a lot. So the first 6 months were a complete bust. We didn't have the right messaging. We actually didn't build our diagnostic AI enabled diagnostic tool in the first 6 months. And our whole premise was, hey, if we find partners or vendors, B2B product and service providers and clients that are a good fit, and we match them and tie incentives and outcomes together, that's a great MVP. It was not. It was not successful. It did not work. People didn't understand the methodology and they needed to be walked through the process. And my whole career has been around large transformations, change behavior. And even I underestimated how much it has taken from an education and change behavior perspective. We are now putting all of our emphasis and effort into podcasts, eminence, white papers on explaining why our methodology and our approach can add value, why the idea of continuously in an agile fashion, setting the right priorities, activating the execution plan, and owning the results and continuously learning and repeating that system is the way of the future and is where we've seen the most success in the past. So that's what's working really well is we've finally been able to articulate our why as well as our how in an efficient manner, where in the past it's been a much longer and much more difficult consulting jargon point of view. Now it's getting much more tactical now that we've executed 50 plus projects and we've been able to showcase the value.
That's amazing. Yeah, absolutely. Learning and evolving. I think that's the way to go. Is there anything that's slowing you down right now?
Change behavior in education. The thing we learned and the thing we're focusing on is still our biggest barrier. We get so our ICPs is we work with businesses under 50 million in revenue. So think startups, early stage startups, legacy businesses, so professional services firms, accounting, law firms, consulting firms, blue collar workforces, etc. They've been running these businesses or these types of businesses for sometimes 50, 70, 100 plus years. We are fighting education and inertia of not changing things. They do not want to do things differently. They have been successful doing it the way that they have been doing it. So we have to show them not only that their way might not be producing the best results today, but that their way will lead them down a path that might not have them survive. And that urgency and that education is difficult. I meet with people in their 70s and 80s, and I'm meeting people that are in their 20s. I have to be able to adjust my story, my methodology, and my perspective to each of them and showcase to them why Copact is the right fit for them or why not. We are not the perfect fit for everyone. If you are not looking to move the needle and drive outcomes, we're not a good fit. We're going to just be annoying to you. But if you are looking to drive outcomes, we are confident that we can turn that 90% failure rate that we see out in the market into a 90% plus success rate. But there will be pain along the way. That much I can promise.
I love the pain along the way. I think growing pains like with anything else, right? That's how I see all this entire change management that you talked about.
No pain, no gain, for
No
sure.
pain, no gain. Absolutely. Now, looking ahead 6 to 12 months from now and knowing how fast the technology is growing, right? Where do you want Copact to be?
I mean, the ultimate vision for Copact, and I don't know if it's 6 to 12 months away, it might be closer to 24 to 36 months, but where we ultimately want to be is we want to be that outcome partner orchestration layer. Our goal is not necessarily to always be bringing in external partners to internal organizations. Our goal is to help build the outcome system for organizations where they have a place with their data, their information, plus access to data of all of the collaborations and engagements that Copac does to build the best strategy for their organization and where they can continuously refine and update their information in setting the right priorities. Then they can evaluate who should be executing this, who's the right internal stakeholders, do they need to bring in outside expertise, and how do they work together to build the plan and track the results. And then lastly, that learning engine. This is the most exciting part to me, and it's the part we're furthest away from right now. It's not the revenue producing part, so we haven't focused on it as much. But the learning engine where Copact could be in a very unique position is we could be working with thousands of B2B product and service providers, hopefully tens of thousands of clients, and we're going to be able to anonymize and leverage all of the data of all of these engagements and interactions to ensure that every new engagement that gets started has the absolute best probability to succeed because we're going to see what worked, see what didn't work, and be able to fine tune it based on the industry, the stage, the organization, the type of partner, and where they're looking to go. So we want to be that ultimate outcome center. And the way I see that is really being an outcome orchestration layer across the board, lightweight, but integrated into the day to day processes and data. And that's our ultimate vision. I would love to say that's 6 to 12 months away. It might be closer to 18, 24.
Yeah, that's good to know. Now, if you had a magic wand and could fix one thing that's slowing growth, capital alignment, or ecosystem expansion, what would that one thing be?
I think it'd
Putting you
be
on the spot.
openness. I think it would be individual, or the one thing would be everyone being more open. I think we live in a very, unfortunately, a cynical world, but a cynical world based off experiences. There have been lots of false promises out there. There have been lots of grandeur in terms of sales and salespeople. I think openness to give people a shot. I think there's so much wasted time and effort in selling and repeating and sending the same message and doing 10 discovery calls where the model I'm really trying to build is give things a shot, experiment, fail, and learn quickly. And I don't see that in today's day and age. Everyone's got CYA, cover your ass, ensure that McKinsey approved it or the big consulting approved it, and ensure that, you're covered versus let's experiment in small and tiny ways, see where we gain traction, see where we gain success and move faster. It is every executive I talk with, it is so slow to move the needle in any direction that I think we're missing a ton of value because we're just moving so slow. And the biggest reason behind that is People aren't open. People are very cynical right now and don't want to take chances, don't want to take any risks, even measured risks.
Yeah. Well, part of it also goes back to the lack of education that you mentioned earlier, right? Like I think that's a big one, right? It's like if you don't know what you're trying to get into, you may not even trust that entire process. So
That's
I
a
think
great point too. That's a
yeah,
great point too. But even in the education space where I struggle is you'll get somebody who I think is decently knowledgeable on the subject. You could get another AI person that has a completely different perspective. So we're in uncharted waters where anybody who's telling you they have a glass ball and they can predict exactly what's going to happen is inaccurate. Like that loses all trust and authenticity. So we have to, even if well educated people have to be willing to experiment because we don't know what we don't know. We are in uncharted waters and we need to figure it out. And the only way you figure it out is getting your hands dirty and working with things and experimenting. And so I think that openness, it might even be a little bit more important than the education just because we don't know. We don't know where this is going. We don't know where this technology can take us. And so we have to be open.
yeah, kind of write your own story, right? Like with your own pain points, your own learnings, and then defining that path. Yeah, that's a really good perspective. Any parting thoughts for our audience, Zach?
No, I think that I loved where we ended. I think the openness. I think Copact's big methodology is, we give everything away for free. So we're no cost to our clients. Our goal is to educate and empower as many people, organizations as possible. And I think what I would tell everyone to do is experiment, try, pilot, learn, take advantage of the free resources and the education that is out there, as well as people that are willing to give you time and don't take it as, a negative, but really try and incorporate that in to your growth plan, into your monthly and quarterly approach, because the people that are opening up their ecosystem and opening up their lens on the world, I think are going to be the most successful. You can't just be narrow, tunnel vision, my industry, my thing, this is my expertise. You got to open up because right now, depth and the ability to learn new things has never been easier. So you really need to be the connector of how do I connect these different aspects of business and different aspects of the world together. So really openness. I think openness would be my key feedback to everyone.
Yeah, it sounds really easy, Zach, but I think it's one of the most difficult things to do.
It pushes you into being uncomfortable, but pain, gain, being the only time you're growing is if you're uncomfortable. You need to be in a process that you're not in. You need to expose yourselves to things you're not comfortable with, or you don't grow.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that perspective. Audience, I hope that you learned some great insight from Zach. Until next time, we'll talk soon. Take care of yourselves. Bye.
Thank you so much.